Hello everyone, I have here the LEGO Jurassic Park T-Rex Escape Set. Now I am not sponsored by LEGO. I bought this set for its suggested retail price of $100 US and I built it live over on Twitch. This set comes with 1,212 pieces, that is 1,212 pieces, and it has 4 exclusive minifigures. And I first want you to just get a general look at the whole thing and see its overall size and shape. This is absolutely designed for display and not play. However, the standards used for designing each major element that you see here are more like the standards used for regular play scale things, and they are designed play scale and designed to be fairly tough. And well, I mean, you could just like pick this up and just drive it around. Like we'll get into the details, but this is not designed like it's made specifically just for adults and exclusively for collectors at all. It has that overall LEGO charm, that LEGO toy charm, which I think is really important for minifig scale things. Obviously the T-Rex itself is brick built, and then you get 2 of the Ford Explorers, which they do refer to by brand name. There's even a Ford sticker on each one of them, so they are 100% official. This one does not have the parts included in the set to make it complete. As a matter of fact, it's very difficult to make it complete. I'll talk more about that later. This one is 100% complete and is pretty fantastic in how it's designed. We'll take that off the base, but first, I want you to see just a little bit more about how this is all set up. I'm going to take these out. I'm going to start stripping some things off so you can see really just how the whole display platform is set up, because this guy is also, well, it's a she, right? It's also intended to be able to be removed, so that can just be popped off, and then that leaves just the half and upside down crushed Ford Explorer there, and well, that just pops up as well. It's only attached by a single stud. Underneath, the base is made of 3 to 4 layers of plates stacked on top of each other with a little bit of overlapping, and they tried to go between a few different colors to suggest the different levels of wetness. And you got little suggestions of water in there as well, and just how, you know, the dirt has been overturned and it would be a little bit more clay-like underneath and everything. The center track here has actually been pushed down by 2 plates as well, where the truck has come down on top of it, and these here represent the footsteps of T-Rex where it first came out, you know, where it first came through the fence. This is all very solid. You can pick it up even with all the items on it. You can pick it up like this from one side. There will be a little bit of flex in it, but not much. Like this is designed pretty well. Back here, this whole border is great. Like the shaping of it is really good. It does have stickers on it, but I think that's done really well and feels and looks very solid. There's just a little bit of foliage included in the background. Less than I probably personally would have liked, but it surprised me a little bit while I was building this that all the foliage is on the other side, but that totally makes sense, right? Because this is all maintained here. This is landscape free space up on the poles. Of course, you've got the indicator lights there. That's just another sticker, but yeah, I think this could have used a little bit more foliage behind there. You can change the angles of these a little bit to change where the wires end up hanging down, but I think it works well enough in the background when all the other stuff is here. Like, it wasn't designed to be displayed like this, obviously. There's a little better look at one of the stickers. Here's another one, and then up front, this sign is done with a single sticker there. But then you come all the way to the front of the display, and these are actually 2 printed tiles. So a printed 2x6 that looks very good to me. Like that's proper. This is a printed 2x4. This one's not quite proper. That one definitely could have used some more opacity to it, because that white is really, it's really not white. And also the red is like a dark red. Just to compare that real quickly here, that's how bright it should be. Like that's the LEGO red color. That's how off that is. Like just by itself, you know, if you're not comparing it to anything, okay, it might look okay, but in reality, that should have been done better for a collector level set. The full and complete Ford Explorer to me looks about as good as I could possibly ask it to be in an official LEGO product. You know, something that needs to be sturdy, that needs to be something that anybody can just grab and just, you know, play with, roll around. Again, like I said, each element in this set is designed like it's made for play, even though this is presented like a a collector's diorama, a collector's display. This is fully intended to be used by itself, and it has sturdy building techniques. I really could not ask for it to look better than this personally. I couldn't ask for more accuracy, other than perhaps a suggestion of a B pillar right here. That would have been nice, but I don't see exactly how they could do that without it being something flimsy and potentially a little bit annoying. Now, it does have stickers used for most of the decorations, and you can clearly see the difference in the color of the backing of the sticker compared to the lime green color of the plastic. Within the plastics, as I go around, you may see some slight differences as well between different pieces. I noticed that too. I think that Lego is starting to lack a little bit more in consistency with lime, although lime has never been great from plastic type to plastic type and manufacturing location to location. But I wish it was a little bit better for the premium prices that we pay here. The front end is done really nicely. The hood is maybe, or the bonnet is maybe a little bit high compared to the height of the fender wells here. There are some recolored pieces here, I'm pretty sure, new for this year in their colors, so not new in the parts. The front end is done really well. These wheel covers are printed parts, and that's fantastic. I love that. I'm so glad that they are printed. Yeah, it's great. I'm all about that. Unprinted windscreen piece for the upper observation window, the full greenhouse, what do you call it? It's practically a skylight at that point. There you can see the official Ford logo. I also mentioned Ford within the instructions and stuff. Stickers used there, very small sticker used in this corner. Let's take a look at the inside. So you can pull all of this off, of course, easily. Sorry about that. Check that out. That is space for 4 minifigures to sit. That is exactly what everybody wants. A 6-wide vehicle that holds 2 figures side by side. And this is within a reasonable size, and yet it has seat backs for both rows and can hold 2 figures side by side in both rows. Thank goodness, that's great. And they were able to pull that off by using the 2x6 tile along the side here, which gives extra space in there for arms. Now inside you can see the little screen, and of course just a regular steering wheel. These represent the glasses. It's unfortunate that they don't have a clear piece or some sort of light transparent piece for the bottom. They use the white piece here, but just represent glasses with the water, where you saw the little vibrations when something was coming. And this is a big light, if I remember correctly, and not a video camera. Now, the upside down crushed one is an interesting case, because I'm sure that there are a lot of people who would like to make a second one of these things by just adding some of the pieces, some of the upper pieces and maybe some interior details is what you would expect to do, is what you would want to do. And the good news here is that they do give us the lime colors of these Speed Champions. I think they were originally Speed Champions 6-wide era fender well pieces, and they also give us the stickers, which are needed. Other things that are exclusive for making another one of these would include this sticker right here. They do not include that sticker, but you can get this hood piece or hood or roof piece, fairly commonly. All these other parts on top you would expect to have to get, but the key things are included here, with one exception. The point in time at which this moment is captured is after the T-Rex has already pulled the tire off of one of these. Now, they can't just leave the tire off of one of these wheels here, because these are the dual molded ones. These are the most recent Speed Champions style ones from the 8-wide era that have the rubber and the plastic dual molded together. You can't separate that out. So they use an older Speed Champions style, or what was used for Speed Champions before, an older style of wheel to have that scene accurate to the moment. But it does not have one of these on there. Doesn't fit. This is too small. So they just left it out entirely. You don't get a fourth one of these in the set, which is so disappointing to me. And it would cost a fraction of a cent to include just the one extra for folks who want to make a second one of these. If you want to make a second one, you have to buy a whole new set or wait for them to be parted out on bricklaying. That was just a little bit disappointing to me. Also, the entire build of the whole thing is completely different. it's built to be upside down. It's not built to be a vehicle that would be rebuilt into a full one. So they weren't trying to accommodate too much. I do appreciate this part here being taken care of and also using the same size for the fender wells. But yeah, that is what it is. It is just a prop, and I just have to accept that, even if I'm not happy with it because of this piece in particular. I love those. The print is so good, but it's exclusive to this $100 set. Just that one piece. Come on, Lego, come on. All right, the T-Rex itself. Now, I've heard of a lot of hate lobbed against this, and I understand a lot of the criticism specifically around the tail and the gaps in the tail right here. Like, those are very, very obvious, right? However, I do not agree with the severity of the general criticism that I've heard, because I personally think that this looks pretty good, and I personally think that it's good that they committed to doing a brick-built design, because the design that they've gone for here and the overall look that they've gone for here is a scaled down version of the mega sized giant collector edition that they did with the gate, which I think absolutely needed to be done, and I think it establishes a certain continuity. Now, they could have gone with one of these, and a lot of people complain about anytime that Lego does things that are pre-molded, with specialized pieces. So it's kind of a can't win situation. I personally identify better with these. Identify this look more with Lego and Jurassic Park, having played the Jurassic World game, which includes the whole Jurassic Park movie series. So this looks right to me. This to me is what a Lego T-Rex should look like. But I appreciate this design, and I think that for what it is, for what they were going for there, this was done well. The head especially, the head is really good. I appreciate the inclusion of two different colors. So you got the tongue, and then the inside of the mouth there. The roof of the mouth, even if you take low shots of this, shows the pink in there. Got the nice rows of teeth. These are not done with prints. The eyes are done with stickers, which I think is fine. But this can open and close, right? The head can go up and down. However, the head cannot rotate, twist, which is unfortunate, and it cannot turn side to side. That's really unfortunate. It just definitely could have used more articulation there. You got the tiny, short little arms, which have way more articulation than they need. Tiniest little hands there. This is done pretty well. All of this is done so much better than on the T-Rex fossil. What was it? It was from the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. They did a T-Rex fossil that uses the molded head, but the legs, it was a museum display, but the legs had all kinds of colors in them. But this is a lot more consistent. This is done really well. This I can absolutely accept, and I can look past slight differences in color and the little bit of gaps there. It's too bad about the gray, but that's old news by now that's color locked. Maybe they will unlock it someday. Got the tan color used for half of the joint piece here, which really helps as well with the whole overall color scheme. Obviously, the tail can be turned in this way, which makes it so that from at least one angle, you don't see those gaps as much, but there's a lot of articulation here thanks to the use of the ball joints. And then you also have this ability right here. No ability to curve the tail up and down, however. And the feet can be angled a bit, but there's not a lot of friction in there. So most of the time, unless you can put the tail down on the ground, you're going to have this leaning forward on those little dark orange colored ingots there. Very nice. So now that kind of limits what you're going to do with the positions of the legs themselves, but you can always change the angle of the body relative to all that, because these joints are using the heavy duty ratchets. You can rotate the feet in and out, adjust the toes ever so slightly, but for the most part, you're limited in some of the major articulation. You can splay these. Once you start to splay the legs, it starts to look extra weird, at least in my opinion. Splaying them this way, let's see. Okay, that's about right there. That's about as bad as it looks. It looks like a really skinny frog. The body is just so thin. That's extremely awkward to me as viewed from the top. But as long as you keep these together, it looks better. But from most realistic angles, and of course most of the time T-Rex itself was not like this. It was in more of this kind of position in real life. In the movie, it goes up a little bit more like that more commonly, but you take it more to the realistic look, and that's not bad. That's not bad at all. It's a pretty nice profile. Overall, I like this. Do wish that it had a little bit more thickness to the body, but then the legs would not have been able to come in so close. And I do very much appreciate the fact that although it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of doing, you can get this into the pose where one foot is up on the inverted Explorer, right, that it just crushed. I'm going to show you the minifigures up close before setting up the full scene as best I can. These are exclusive versions of Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm with, they're all disheveled and they've got water on them and stuff. And each one is holding an upside down candlestick. Well, technically, I guess right side up candlestick piece in red with a Minion's hairpiece in translucent red. Not fully transparent red, but translucent. Lets a little bit of light through there. Wish that it was closer to transparent, but it does let some light through, and I love that piece so much. It shocked me when I saw it, and yeah, I would love to have more. It's so un-Lego-like, but it works perfectly with the Lego system, and kind of enamored with that part, unreasonably so. Unfortunately, the print for Ian over here for the skin tone is clearly off. That should match. That should be the same as those two colors, and they're not. I believe I have a right to ask for better from Lego, given that making plastic things is their whole thing. A little bit different expression there. No alternate for Alan, of course, because of the hat, but not too much of a difference between those two. But it's good to have multiple expressions where possible. Just overall, I think these figures are good. And check this out. They do include an alternate hairpiece for Alan as well. It's a little questionable to me. I don't know. It doesn't look that much like the character with that hairpiece, but I do appreciate that they did include a hairpiece at all for him. And then looking at the kids, here are very, very muddy Tim and Lex. I think that between the two, Lex looks better. It's a really good print for the torso, and I don't know, I just think overall that whole character, the whole figure looks more like the character at that point in the movie. I think that's set up very well. But over here with Tim, I really appreciate the recolored night vision goggles piece, which looks like those somewhat toyish ones that were set up as a prop in the movie. And yeah, I think that's a great option to have. It's always good to get more different accessories. The print for Tim there is a little bit thick and a little bit smudged. Actually, I realize now for Lex as well, some of the darker printing is smudged a little bit. It's not as crisp as it ought to be, but it's acceptable because the faces at least are good. And mud is mud, so it doesn't really bother me here. But yeah, I mean, just overall, I think that they've done a good job here. What is awkward indeed is the fact that these two are the same height. They should be noticeably different heights. And while I was building this live over on Twitch, somebody in chat recommended that this figure should have included the mid-sized legs, and I definitely agree with that. They do include a hairpiece for this little guy, though. And that is good. Got the muddy color there. So together, the most muddy looking forms of these two are pretty good, except for the equal heights that are weird. So here's the full scene set up for long-term display, I think as close as I could reasonably get it. I don't know if the kids are in the correct order, but the hairpiece for Lex got in the way, trying to get her a little bit closer in. I think that's the order that it needs to be right there. So we got Alan, who has gotten out of the vehicle and is waving his flare around. Ian is still in there with his flare, which he's just lit up. He hasn't gotten out to run yet, so the whole toilet scene thing is already done. They didn't put in any of the gory stuff, so there's no blood. There's no piece of the leg of the goat sticking around here, although I will mention that the little leash for the goat is included back here. But I want to be mad about the fact that they still don't have a goat mold available right now. But I've come to terms with the fact that this is intended to represent a specific moment in a specific scene, and it does not need the goat in it. I have to allow that to happen as much as I don't want it to. But yeah, this is pretty much the setup, and I personally feel like it's a good setup. Yeah, look at that. Look at that scene. It's probably best looking at it from a low angle, from an angle like this, rather than looking at it directly from the side, you know, the long side on. You know, getting it a little bit closer to the original angle seen in the movie, I think helps a lot. Yeah, this is good, you know? And then finally to the question of substituting in one of these into the space just to get that look. Go ahead and pop this off. This does get attached with studs with this awkward position, which is made possible by the brick-built design. Probably another major reason that they went with the brick-built design, so that they could have that foot up like that, but they could have chosen a different moment. It is a little bit awkward to look at from this angle again, but from the standard viewing angle, it works. But, you know, if I had this here, I would not be able to have that foot up, so it would have to be like this. I do like that look, though. I really do like that look, because I personally, again, like the molded dinosaurs. Yeah, that's cool, but yeah, you can do like that. You put both feet up on top of it, or you just have it off to the side. Not bad, not bad. I personally can't choose which would have been better for the target market. I would have gone with this though, in some way, shape, or form. Still respect this design. These are the leftover parts, a couple of good recolors there with the dark red here, and then again the trans red piece here. Unfortunately, I did only get one of these as a spare, even though one is included in each of two separate bags. So I should have gotten two spares here, I believe. And this is what the sticker sheet looked like. That's a lot of stickers. Yep, that was very, very intimidating at first. I mean, relatively speaking, I thought that looked like way too many stickers of too many sizes, especially small for a set of this size. But when I went through the process of building this, it did not feel like too much. The stickers are spread out throughout the build in a way that felt comfortable enough to me, and definitely this set needed to have a lot of decorations added to it. I feel like this sheet added value, did not take away. Although, again, I do wish that the color match had been significantly better between the base vinyl and paper and the I mean, look at that. Yeah, that's, yeah. All right, it's time to talk about value. Again, I paid $100 US of my own money for this set. And the main thing I can say about that is basically the normal thing, which is, gosh, Lego is expensive these days. It's always been expensive, but it feels more so right now. A lot of things feel rather extra expensive right now, because indeed they are, for numerous reasons that are pretty well known. I mean, when I went to drive to the store to pick up my Jurassic World new sets, the premium gas was $6.20 on just a regular gas station on the way to the place. But still, yeah, $100, you know, is a lot for ultimately what you're getting here. Is this, which is really good. That's like $20 at the most. This is like how it got stuck there. This should not be $10. It's not a full half of one of these, but let's give these $30 between the two of them. This should get, how much do you think that this should be worth yourself? I'm interested to hear in chat what folks think that this should be worth. You know, put aside for a moment the debate between molded and brick built. What do you think this should cost? Because I'm thinking 30 to 40 if this was sold as a separate set. Let's say without branding, you know, 30 to 40. Let's give it 40, okay, which I think would be too much, but let's give it 40. So we're looking at $70 now on the high side, which means that this display is $30. So that's the four figures. Don't forget the one in there, plus this display is $30. That feels like still too much. Like I'm going on the high side with every single thing. And this does not feel like $30 worth of stuff. But if you go a little bit beyond the high side for each thing, you can start to see how this adds up. It's not an outrageous price in my opinion, but it is high. The design of each thing, I think, is really good, except I do wish that this had, well, at least that one extra printed piece, since that is exclusive. That would have been a very nice bit of fan service for folks who would want to do more of these, since we've never had these officially from Lego. But this design here is really, really good. A little bit of modding, I think, can make it look even better. You know, but there's not a whole lot of room, I think, to make it significantly better without compromising its ability to be played with. The stickers definitely need to be better. Let me know what you think about the debate between this and the molded version. I can go with either, but again, I like what they've done with this and the fact that it can be standing on there. The minifigs are good. The presentation of the whole thing is good. This is the set that they should have done. This should have been the very first Jurassic Park set ever, period. A long time ago. It said they did those Steven Spielberg Lego Studios sets related to this, but this is what you needed. So I'm glad that they came out with this. I think that a lot of people will be happy with it. The price is rough, but I think a lot of fans will be willing to pay that to have this finally. And I'm glad that it is something to be proud of, something that you can actually really like and enjoy from multiple angles. The building experience also felt pretty good. So overall, I'm like 85% satisfied, which is pretty good. I can't really complain too much about that, especially these days. So thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts about some specific topics that I mentioned earlier on. I will keep working to bring you more content, and I'll talk to you again very soon.